Hello, world. Warmest welcome to the 36th episode of Inspiring Millions Show. This is the show where we celebrate brilliant minds from around the world who share with us their story, one story at a time. Ready to unleash the best of you? Today, our featured guest is Tammy Whalen Blake, founder and personal development coach of Go To Yellow. Let's get to know her inspiring story in a short while. Thank you for joining us live or in replay. I'm Viva O'Flynn, your host and Global Media Relations of World Humanitarian Drive. World Humanitarian Drive, also known as WHD, is an international NGO founded in Croydon, UK, by British Indian global peace activist, entrepreneur, writer, Dr. Abdul Basit Saeed. The primary vision of WHD is to promote peace, education, and trade harmony initiatives globally among everyone across the world, regardless of race, gender, religion, or nationality, living as one family. WHD is striving for humanity. This Inspiring Millions show is your show. As always, we encourage you to engage and interact with us. Please help us spread inspiration to the world by sharing this link. Put your questions that you would like to ask our guest, Tammy Whalen Blake, greetings or comments that you have for us in the chat box. We will read them later on in the show. Let us also know where you are watching this. Wherever you are in the world, let us keep you company and brighten your day as we share peace, love, and goodwill. It's the second week of October. How has your week been so far? On Tuesday, it was Teachers' Day. Do we have teachers watching? We appreciate you. On Sunday, the 10th of October, is World Mental Health Day, to raise awareness on taking good care of one's mental health. In this week's Inspiring Millions show, we're joined by Tammy Whalen Blake, who will teach us tools to thrive in today's world. Thus, we'll discover ways to enjoy good mental health. As a founder and personal development coach of Go To Yellow, Tammy considers it her mission to declutter minds, sharpen performance, and increase energy through private and group coaching. Tammy coaches people to find happiness and fulfillment so they can go from gray to yellow. Let us all welcome Tammy Whalen Blake, whose exuberance can light up the world. Thank you for joining us. Tammy, how are you today, Tammy?
Oh, thank you. What a great introduction. That's just so sweet of you. And you're wearing yellow, so you're on brand, I'm not.
Thank you. All right, thanks for being here. So Tammy, let's get started. Could you please introduce yourself to the world and share a brief story about you?
Yeah, well, you've done it well. So I'm a personal development coach, and I'm here to help people unlock what's already within them so that they can be fulfilled in their lives. And there's a number of ways in which I do that. But my story started, well, obviously when I was born. That's the obvious point. But it really kicked off for me as I was about between, I would say, 9 years old to 14 years old. I think that's when I was most shaped by the world. And I was shaped by my home environment. Now, I love my mum to bits. She is wonderful. She is a big kid. She's got all this energy and love to give the world. However, there's a however there. She's chaotic. Chaotic. Her mind is cluttered. Her space is a mess. Not anymore, but back then. And she was a people pleaser. And so as a child, I would be the one, me and my sisters, would be trying to understand what she's trying to communicate with us. We'd lack confidence because whatever we did was wrong. We had to accept the frustration that she had when she was losing items. And so as a kid, I just thought, well, this was a really strange thing to do. Why would you keep losing the same things? Why are you always busy? Why are you rushing around? Why are you exhausted? And from that age, I said to myself, I do not want to be like my mother in this particular like sense of it. I love her energy. I love her joy, what she gives to the world. I'm drawn to that, but I absolutely dislike the chaos. And that set me up for my future in that I would prepare everything. Like, I'm a planner. I plan everything down to the T. I know my next 10 years. I know the next 5 years. I know what I'm doing tomorrow. Everything's planned out. And then everything has order. What I didn't realize is that I was equipping myself with like productivity tools, with life balance, with a vision for my future. And so off I went, used all these tools, but I got stuck into that career ladder loop. I was going for what I thought I wanted because I was getting great success. But it changed for me when I was made redundant. And it was that time to slow down. And I think lockdown has done that for us. We've slowed down and we've questioned, why are we doing things the way that we're doing them? And is this in line with our values? Is this in line with what we want? Or are we doing it for other people, for their expectations, for society? And for me, it gave me the opportunity to do something different. If I was going to rebrand myself, well, why don't I do the thing that I love doing, the thing that I wake up in the morning excited to do? I thought I figured that out, but really I didn't. And so that's what led me down the road of personal development coach, because when I wake up in the morning, I am keen to pick up that book, to go onto courses, or even practice personal development. Like, I love it. So why wouldn't I do that as a career? It was a no-brainer. And so that's where I went down this journey. Of course, there's loads of different things within that story, and I'm sure you're going to ask me some questions to elaborate.
So, Tammy, could you tell us about the yellow color? So how did you find your yellow?
I'll explain why go to yellow first, and then how that would make sense on go to yellow. I don't like the color yellow, which is really strange why I call your business yellow. I don't like it because it doesn't suit me. I'm ginger, me and yellow, and I'm pale. Doesn't work, right? But yellow has amazing symbolisms. If you were to research what's linked to yellow, everything but one is positive. It's energy, it's fulfillment, it's optimism, positivity. So many great words associated to it. The only negative one is alert, which I think that's quite a good thing. But then that's because I have such a positive mindset. So that's the only one that I found that was like a negative version of yellow. But when I came to explore Go to Yellow, it was because my two sisters kept arguing. They kept arguing about the same thing. They weren't listening to each other. And they were like heated. What I could see was red. Like, whoa, these guys are red right now. And so with my bubbly personality and joy, and I came in like, hey guys, let's go to yellow, the place where it's happy. And they didn't like that. Yeah, it's quite difficult to go into red when you're yellow. And I just thought, well, that's quite funny. How can I get people to go to the yellow place, not red or black? Or, you know, I had all these colors and my brain was just firing with, well, I can take them on this journey. For me to find my yellow, well, I was trying to reverse engineer, how did I get to where I am and why am I different? And there's a load of different things I've experienced, from being resilient, from failing, from picking myself back up again, being brave, courageous, compassionate. So there's not one thing, there's just a number of them. And that's why I help people to go to yellow, because I can take them through those little steps to unlock that so that they can be free from what's holding them back and step into their own power.
So, Tammy, could you tell us more about Go to Yellow and what you do?
Yep. Yeah, I can. So it's coaching. Not everyone understands what coaching is. Let's start there. Coaching it's designed for people who are in a sound, good position and they want greatness. It's forward thinking. It's where do you want to go? And it's about closing those gaps. And the techniques is really around questioning, like powerful questions to get the client to create the future. Like we all have the answers within us. We just need to unlock it and understand what's stopping that. So you are empowered to take those steps. So that's coaching. Then you've got mentoring. Mentoring is different. This is where someone has done the thing that you want to do. So you find mentors in like companies. If you're a junior and you want to become a manager, you can mentor your manager and they'll show you the ropes. Or if you're learning to be an engineer, you can get a mentor to show you engineering in whichever area it is. But they tell you what to do. Like, these are the steps, go do it. It's very direct. It's not very empowering. It has its place and it's wonderful, but it's a completely different area. And then you've got things like counseling, therapies, hypnotherapies. They're really, really helpful for understanding the past and bringing that to the present moment. So that's for people who are at the moment, say they are suffering with their mental health and they want to be able to get to a position where they're like good or okay. And at that point, that's when coaching would step in. So I do the coaching side. It's about the future. Where are you now? Your present. Where do you want to be? And I help you unlock that through workshops. I do it through private coaching or programs. And some of the programs are group-based. Others, it can be one-to-one. So it just depends on the person and what they want. But there's a number of ways in which I can deliver it. The most important is that I support you on that journey. I am with you. I don't make the decisions for you. I am like I like to describe life like driving. So I'm like that co-driver that's helpful, not the one that limits you and confuses you on your journey to success.
So how do we go from having a state of overwhelm to being productive?
Mm-hmm. So with the overwhelm, this is where the gray comes in. Because if you think about it, like yellow is like the pinnacle. And if you've ever heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it says right at the top is self-actualization, fulfillment. That's where I believe everyone is chasing, although some people like to think it's freedom. Freedom is part of it. It's not the end result. Fulfillment is. And so you can have a number of different colors to help people to get to that. And I chose gray. And what gray really means is people who are overworked, they are overwhelmed. Maybe they are a busy badge wearer. Maybe they like to be in control. Maybe they are a perfectionist. But also, gray people can be really uninspired because they don't know what they want anymore. So they could be a parent who spent 18 years bringing up their wonderful child, but they've lost themselves in that time because the world's evolved so much, they've lost who they are. Or they could just be unsure what they want. They've gone to university, they just picked a job and they don't know the future for them. They feel like an outsider. And so they are also uninspired and I help them to go on this journey. So gray is a mixture of types. In fact, there's the 4 profile types that I'll be able to identify you with, and then we work on a journey out of that. But to get to yellow, there's the way in which I run my coaching programs. If it's program led, then there's 3 stages. The first is focus and direction, because you need to know where you want to go. And I think this is the biggest problem that we face. And I'll go back to the car analogy. So if you don't know where you're going for your future, you have to have people give you directions. But unfortunately, those co-drivers aren't helpful. They are expectations. So be the good sibling. You've got to be a certain role model for them. Be the doctor your parents always wanted. do not speak unless spoken to, do the job in the job description. All these expectations take you on this journey. And then the other voices you've got are things like social norms, have the baby, get the house, get married, those things that society tell you this is what you have to do. And then you've also got the promoter. So this could be like an influencer, someone with the latest trend or fad, like diets every year. There's always a new diet, January time. So you're on your journey to where you want to go, to your fulfillment, or at least you think you are. But these voices give you directions. And they take you this way, that way, over the hills, round the roundabouts, and sometimes you go back on yourself. And what happens with a lot of my clients, they get to the age of 30, 40, 50, haven't had anyone 60, so up to 50 so far. And they say, oh, I thought I'd be somewhere else by now. But how can you think you're going to be somewhere else if you didn't have a plan for that? And so focus on direction is really important. We need to dig deep into who are you, what do you want, and to get very clear on that path in detail. So something like that can take between 8 and 12 weeks. Some of my clients are doing 12 weeks because we go really deep into your plan. Because your plan's important, because the decision you make today will affect that future plan. So we get very tactical. So we need to know the direction. The second phase is about productivity and energy, because you could be going for the thing that you want, and that sounds great. So, okay, I don't need those co-drivers. I can go for this now because I've got my plan. I'm heading over there to that hill that's 3 miles away. But you might take a longer route to get there because there's things on our way that slows us down. And it could be social mediaville. That's the biggest time waster. And so the more time we spend in that, the slower it's going to be on our journey. So we go through productivity and energy to make sure you've got the fuel to keep going and you're behaving in a way that gets you to your destination faster, and it limits the things that do not serve you. Beliefs show up, behaviors show up. And so we dive into that and rewire it, come up with new habits, behaviors, and routines. And then you start to go for it. The final part is the freedom and fulfillment. This is like where yellow happens, and it's the beautiful place. It's where as a coach you go, yeah, this is working, this is good. I'm never proud of my work until my clients are proud of themselves. That's when I know I've done a really good job, is when they say, Tammy, I'm awesome, I'm doing a great job. You know, when they are their own best friend, that's freedom, like freedom from your inner thoughts that limit you. It could be freedom from constraints. So it could be, you know, an office constraint maybe, or friendships. You could be locked in friendships that are holding you back because they want you to stay at their level. They don't want to see you grow because it highlights their life and they don't like it. So they try to pull you back. So it's unlocking all of those different things in your life. And then the fulfillment comes in where you just have so much love. And this is what I see in you, Viva, and what I was just like so blown away by this beautiful lady. I remember the first time we met. And you just came in with just so much joy, and there was so much bounce, and you had a cake and you're like, have the cake. And I just thought, wow, who is this person? Like, this is someone who is yellow and very fulfilled, just high on life. You know the people, because some people see them as irritating. I see it as inspiring, but that's because like it's such a beautiful place to be. And I understand when you're in that place, the world just feels magical.
Yeah, and you also have this book. It's called Break Free from Overworking, Gain Balance in Life, Maintain Success, where we could find the things that you said as well. And you also have a yellow magazine. Yeah. So the world is filled with distractions now, so it's so challenging to get focused. So how can we worry less and enjoy life more?
How can you worry less and enjoy life more? First thing to say, worrying is a habit. And so you've created worry, which means you can reverse it. There's an amazing technique. It's not mine. If you're a person who really worries, check out Mel Robbins. It's called 54321. I'm pretty sure it's a book. If not, you'll definitely find it on YouTube, on the TED Talk. And the idea is that where you worry, the part of the brain that worries, you need to get it out of that part to your prefrontal cortex, the bit where it's logical thinking, decision making. So you need to interrupt the pattern so that you can insert a positive thought. You need to anchor that in. And so I think if you're a worrier, that's a great place to start and just focus on that. Don't do too much, just focus on getting out of worrying. You could also speed that up. You could do hypnotherapy. That's another great therapy out there. Highly recommend it. Not only do you get to relax, but you also rewire your thinking. Even if you're not a worrier, that's fantastic as well, because I use it to come up with solutions that sometimes I just cannot figure out. You know, when you focus on something too much, you're like, I know the answer, but I can't get to the answer. Something like that is really, really helpful. So yeah, your question, how to get out of worry into happiness. If you're wanting to then get from that point to happiness, you need to live by your values, and you need to really focus in on what you want for your life and start behaving that way. Because when you don't, that's when you have this internal conflict and you'll know you're doing something wrong, even if it's not that obvious to you, and that's going to keep pulling you away from your happiness.
So Tammy, what makes you happy in your daily life? Could you just tell us what is a typical day like for Tammy?
What makes me happy? People make me happy. I think living my truth makes me happy. And so I have a wonderful routine, and it's very balanced. I'm all about life balance. You'll see that in the book or any content that I put out there. I don't talk about work-life balance. I talk life balance because it's a combination of everything. It also doesn't exclude certain people as well. Some people just hate work. They don't want to work, and that's absolutely fine. So my daily routine, what does that look like? Well, first of all, I do not negotiate with the alarm. Up is up. One alarm, get up, get out of bed. That takes time to overcome, and I know that's a big challenge for many. If you have any questions about that, drop me a message. I'll help you. So yeah, getting up and doing little things, little wins. So making my bed is my little win. Just get it done. It's the first task, but it also means you won't get back into it. Really helpful. And then drink a glass of water. Because we've been sleeping all night, we're dehydrated, so we need water. We don't need coffee. I didn't learn this until 2.5 years ago, that when we get out of bed, our bodies are increasing the cortisol level because it's getting us out of sleep state to being awake. So if we go to coffee, we've got double the amount of cortisol. So that's such a shock on the body. If you're doing that, that's probably why your day feels exhausting, because your body's trying to recover from all the shock that it's just had. So water first, no coffee. Wait 90 minutes if you have to have your coffee. Then it's things like having my supplements. I highly recommend supplements. They are my life savior every single day. Take the supplements. So then I feel balanced. And then all the things that I've got in my diary have been planned. They're the things that I need to do for me to get to where I want to be. So living my life by how I design it makes me very yellow. And I allow room for chaos because life is not perfect. So I have buffer space. So if something shows up, I'm like, okay, cool. Right. Well, I'm off in this direction now. No bother, because I can catch up on the thing maybe that I'm missing out. So I don't beat myself up in my day. It's okay, well, some things just have to free flow. Some things you can plan. And I'd say that my partner, oh, I love him so much. He's so sweet. I like our relationship, even down to when he comes home from work. The rule is, if whoever's been out of the house, whoever comes home, yeah, so when your partner comes home, the rule is that you need to be excited to see them, give them your attention, look them in their eyes, give them a kiss, show them that you're excited that they just came home. Not, you haven't done the washing up, you idiot. Like, none of that. It's love, it's joy. Welcome them home. And that kind of sets me up for a wonderful evening, because then I want to talk to him. It's not, let's sit in front of the TV and not really speak to each other, or let's go our separate ways. It's built on connection, intimacy, not complacency. So I think that element to my evenings really brings me this like connection and joy to my day.
That's really interesting to know, Tammy. And then, so you're in a way a teacher as well. And then World Teachers Day was on Tuesday, October 5. So what is the importance of teachers, of mentors, coaches in today's world?
Teachers are awesome. Well done. Whatever age that you're teaching, that's some serious skill. And I think it's undervalued for the work that they do. For mentors, it's beautiful to see, particularly in the UK, that there's a rise in mentors and coaching. The interesting thing is, coaches become coaches usually because someone's inspired them. And so there's this like ripple effect, because you feel really good about the success that you've had, whatever it is that you're going for. You could have a fitness coach, life coach, business coach, whatever it might be. And when you're getting that success, and this comes back to like human nature, you just want to be able to pass that forward, that community vibe, that love giving. That's the yellow part. That's the fulfillment, is giving back to others. And I find that's such a beautiful thing, is that we take ownership of our lives. We take the lessons and then we pay it forward, even down to like, I think about my mindset now to 3 years ago when I was in the corporate world, and how different that is. And I'm even thinking about my children that I haven't had yet, or I'm not planning to have anytime soon, but I'm thinking, well, if I behave this way now, then what impact does that have on them? And how would I speak to them? How would I create this environment for them? So what I'm seeing is there's this collective coaching mentality, support mentality, like leadership skills, compassion for our future. So I think the youth of today are going to blossom into beautiful humans, and that's going to help humanity as a whole. So the more we're doing it, the more that it will pay off in the long run.
So World Mental Health Day is on Sunday, 10th of October. So what is the importance of good mental health?
We've talked a lot about like physical health over the years, you know, being strong, physically able. Mental health has risen in the last, I would say, 10 years. We're so far away from where it needs to be. There's a lot of investment and interest from students to go into mental health. Health as a whole is really important. What are we without our health? If we're riddled with disease, whether that's physical, mental, spiritual, then we're really disconnected. It is vital to us, just as vital as having a glass of water. And we need to do more to improve our own mental health. I think once you've worked on your own, you can have more compassion for someone else. If you can't understand why someone's going through a difficult time, it's probably because you haven't looked into your own life yet. We can do more. We can definitely do more as a collective, and it's a growing area. I'd also say that we could, whilst we're looking at mental health as an industry, we could also combine emotional health. They go well together. There's a book I highly recommend. It's on my shelf. It's called The Chimp Paradox by Professor Steve something. But The Chimp Paradox, I believe, should be given to every single child after they finish high school, then given to them again after college, and then again after university, and then again when you've been in the corporate world for maybe 5 years, or a business for 5 years. It's such an important book to understand your emotions and how you react to things. And if you're able to bring awareness and self-regulate, that will improve your mental health. So yes, going back to what I said, if you're focusing on mental health as an industry, really, we should also look at our emotional health at the same time.
And especially in these COVID times, really have to take good care of our mental health and emotional health as well.
Yeah, I can give you an example of something that happened to me. So very aware. I journal a lot. If I've got heightened emotions, I take time out, I reflect on it, like what's going on there. This has come from that book. It's taught me a lot. And so in lockdown, I'm the type of person that loves being around other people, and I like to be doing activities. I love exploring. So when all of that was stripped away and I couldn't do those things, I tried to channel my energy into my business. I was like, well, I've got the time. I'll just have to channel it there. And it worked well. But what I didn't appreciate is that human connection. And so I was projecting my need for human connection onto my boyfriend. And I was saying to him, I was like, I need you to come round more often, because we weren't living together at the time. I was like, I need to see you more. And I was asking for some ridiculous things as well from him. But there was just because I wasn't able to self-regulate. I didn't know this was my thing. And so what I was then doing is causing arguments and friction between us. Like I wanted a reaction, almost like I was bored. I just wanted something from him. And so by going through my emotions, I understood that actually I have a fundamental need of people. And when I don't get that, I'm demanding some other things that are a bit too much to ask of one person. It was a bit ridiculous what I was asking him, but I couldn't see that at the time until after, I think it happened 3 times for me to realize, oh, I see what's going on. And the journaling really helped me to identify it. So the 3rd time we came to a lockdown, I was far more chilled and I could fulfill my needs in other ways.
So it's also really important to look after your needs, that you don't expect others to fulfill those needs for you.
Yeah. It's important. Own your needs. They're your needs. Work them out and then find a way to communicate it. So when I communicated it to my partner, he said, okay, well, I can do these things, but I can't do that. That's a bit too much of me. And I understood. I was like, okay, you're right. That is, I'm asking too much of you, and that's fine. You can help me with this, but not that. So I need to go find other ways to fulfill those needs, as opposed to me saying, you should entertain me. And because you're not entertaining me, I'm going to tell you off or whatever it is.
Thanks, Tammy. So International Day of the Girl Child is on Monday, October 11. So why should people embrace their inner child?
Going back to my mum, the one key area that I love about her is she's just a big kid. She has a lot of lovable energy, and it's really exciting to see that come out of her. And I also love the fact that she's now in a relationship with a guy who's equally a big child. So they throw things like cake at each other. Now, when I was a kid, if I tried throwing cake around the house, I'd be in so much trouble. But now she's found her play partner that throwing cake is totally okay. And I like to see that because we've got so much seriousness in life that it becomes a bit of a drain. But there's more to it. And when you're a child, children are so creative. They come up with so many solutions. My niece, I love having a conversation with her. She'll say something like, okay, can we go out and, use the skateboard? And I'll have a reason why not. It's like, oh, well, it's raining out there. So no, we'll get cold. And she's like, yeah, but we can put on a coat. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. But, and then I'd come up with a but, and she'd go, yeah, but we can do this. And it was always something that it can happen. She would find a positive way to make something happen. And that child mentality is something we can all adopt. Waking up in the morning, super excited by the day, finding pleasure in really silly things like crayons and a piece of paper or a piece of string. They just love the simple things and they laugh a lot. And there's a lot of health benefits to laughter. I recommend checking out Pete Can. He's called the Laughter Man. And he puts on these laughter yoga sessions to help people to laugh more because we don't do that as much. And as a result, it reduces down anxiety. So I think we can do more to make ourselves giggle.
Yeah, let's do that. Like, feel like children again by giggling. So I'm just gonna look through the comments of our virtual audience. So we have people from watching us from the Philippines, from India, Malaysia, and different parts of the world. We have a question from Professor Dato Dr. GP Dorisami of Malaysia. So he's saying that successful people have gone through immense challenges and obstacles in their life. Nothing comes easy or achieved as planned. There are glitches and hitches along the way to reach our desired goals. So his question is, despite the well-planned journey towards success, there are unexpected instances of unforeseen events, circumstances beyond self-control, issues of problems that hampers or slows down success. How would you coach or mentor these individuals or group of people to put them back on track towards success?
Yeah, great question. And you're right. Absolutely. There's loads of things that will slow us down on our journey that we don't have control of. So if you think if you're driving down a road, you might have a, what's the word where a cliff falls down? Like an avalanche? I don't know what word I'm looking for here. But anyway, these things are uncontrollable and you get there and you go, oh, well, there's a block in my road. I have to go back on myself. Like these things just happen. That is the way the world works. Nothing's perfect. If it was, I think it would be a boring life if everything was perfect. So how I help people with that, first of all, we discuss what happened. And sometimes we just laugh at it. Just laugh. The rocks were in my way. I didn't plan that one, did I? Oh, God, never mind. And then sometimes they say, well, we're having to go back on ourselves. Well, that's fine too, because as we're going back, that to most people feels like, oh, it's failure. But actually, there's an opportunity to learn something there, because then we get to redo the thing we're trying to do, but then we can go faster if we learn the lesson. Well, let's reflect on that journey. And while we're at it, have a look out the windows, enjoy the scenery. What did you miss on the way? Because we get so focused on achieving, which is like, right, that's it, just go, 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 go. And this is why I talk about like the busy badge wearers. They're just so focused. Everything else is oblivious. They don't get the time to be present. And so this is an opportunity, if you're having to go back, to just be present. So, well, what did I miss? And there's so much that you will learn about that. That information is gold. You may not use it immediately, but at some point it will come to you and you'll know how to accelerate. So yes, I would say the challenge is there's a lesson there. There's always a lesson, and I love to fail. Like I've embraced failure because there's no, people have this win-lose mentality, but I have this win-lesson mentality. You can learn something through failure. And if you learn the lesson, then you'll get to where you want to be faster. If you don't listen or learn the lesson, you will face that same lesson again. The universe works in strange ways. It will teach you again and again until you learn it. So it's an opportunity to reflect.
Embrace failure. That is a really good lesson because people are just scared of failing. And then if you embrace it and learn from it, that could really transform a person. So I'm just looking through the comments again. So Win is saying, shout out to Nancy Milio. Happy birthday, Nancy. And then more comments. Happy Andrade is saying she enjoyed your yellow course. And then Tongi Grass said, happy, and I attended the Go to Yellow course and it was great and very helpful. His question is, what is your best advice to keep going on every day with the things we learned during the course?
I don't know if I understand the question. Repeat it again.
Yes, Tongi Gra, he attended the Go Together course with Happy, and then he said that it was great and very helpful. So he's asking is, what is your best advice to keep going on every day with the things that they learned on your course? Like how can they apply the
going on their
lessons?
journey? Yes. Okay. So I would say get a coach. That's what I would say, because it's getting that consistency. And sometimes what happens when you try to do it on your own is that you'll get so far and a fear will just show up and it'll stop you from even moving forward. Now, our brain works very powerfully to almost lie to us, I suppose, to say, no, I'm not scared of that thing. No, I'm just not doing that because, and there's your excuse. I did it. So I have a vision for my business. And I want to communicate with the world. I want to inspire others. However, I avoided LinkedIn. And I had a business coach and she said to me, why are you not posting on LinkedIn to grow your audience? And I said, oh, no, that's not the platform for me because my audience is on Facebook. And she was like, well, that doesn't sound that way because you've said your audience is X, Y, and Z, and LinkedIn would be your route. And she's like, Tammy, what's holding you back? What are you scared of? And she just had to say those words. And I was like, oh, no, you didn't. You didn't just open the box. Because I knew. I was like, okay, I'm scared that I built a brand for myself on LinkedIn as Tammy, the sales channel manager in technology. And then here comes Tammy, the personal development coach. Like I was thinking, well, I'm an impostor, I'm a fraud. I don't know what I'm doing. All these thoughts came to me. And so I avoided going on to LinkedIn. So the fear was fear of being judged. Also fear of failure was showing up for me. And so by having my coach just ask that question, I knew immediately I had to break down that fear. I was not comfortable with it. I would go under my duvet, like, nope, not doing this. But by having her, she set a task for me by the next session to have created regular social media posting. And so I was accountable. So I had to show up. If I want this success, I've got to do this thing. But without her, I probably would have found another excuse to not do it. Like, oh, LinkedIn doesn't work, or I'm not able to post this type of image. I would have found an excuse, basically. So I would say work with someone, mentor, coach, whatever it might be, and it will accelerate you to identify what's slowing you down so that you can do what it is that you need to do.
Tammy, you've mentioned earlier about imposter syndrome. So how do we beat this imposter syndrome if we're suffering from it?
Yeah. So I didn't realize I was suffering with imposter syndrome when I was in my corporate world. And I would guess that the vast majority of us aren't aware of it either. There's 7 different types of imposter syndrome. For me at that time, I felt like an outcast. So I was in a high performing team. Everyone was at least 10 years older than me and at least with 10 years experience. So I felt inadequate. And so what I had done in that time was I'd keep myself small. I wouldn't share what I'm up to, because if I showed people what I was up to, they'll see that I'm a failure and that I should be fired. That was what I was telling myself. So I was like, I'll keep myself small. I won't ask questions and everyone can just ignore that I'm here. But I was only penalizing myself, because then I wasn't able to make strong relationships. I wasn't able to advance myself in my career, to learn through other people. So I felt like this outcast. And a way in which to get over that is first to identify, what are you feeling? That's the first thing. It brings some self-awareness to, well, how do I actually feel in my workplace? Am I showing up enough? And if I didn't have fear, what would I do? And so that would expose you to what's holding you back. And then it's a matter of slowly, I would say, doing the thing that you're scared of. Some people can go all in, and that's fine. If that's you, go all in. I'm the go all in person. But others, if you're a procrastinator, it's better to just do baby steps first than no steps. And so it could be, for example, for me, I wanted to be this thought leader. And to be a thought leader, I had to do presentations in front of large audiences. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to build my confidence. So I took the steps to speak to more people, to speak to larger groups of people, until eventually I got on stage and I was terrified. I did not enjoy it. But it was what I call positively uncomfortable, because it's uncomfortable, but it's for a good reason. I'm growing. I may suck at it. In fact, I can recall my very first presentation and I was terrible, but I learned a lot in that experience and I grew as a person. So if you are suffering with imposter syndrome, identify what it is, work out where you want to go and what steps you need to take, and then lean into that. Get the support, speak to other people. You'll be surprised how many others feel the same way. And it will encourage you to just go after it. Just don't be like everyone else. If everyone else is scared, don't limit yourself. Be different, be bold, and go for it. You will accelerate and you'll appreciate the effort you put in. Future you will be like, well done. You tried your best and here you are. That's what I would say.
Those are wonderful tips, Tammy. So what are your future plans? Do you have any upcoming projects that you would like to promote? And can you please share how our virtual audience could get in touch with you online?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I plan. I plan everything. So I am 2 years into my 10-year vision. And so I'm working on my business right now. So most of my energy goes into my business and my health. They're like the 2 prime areas I'm focused on. Everything else just remains consistent. So I'll slowly improve those, but they're not getting all of my energy. It's very tactical in terms of where I want to be, because at some point in the future, I'll have a family and I want to be present with my kids. I want to be able to love them and nurture them. And so to do that, my business needs to grow so that I'm not working in it when I come to having the family. So next year is all about the yellow mastermind. So if you are a business owner, a micro business owner, very specific, who has a skill, so a skill like photography, copywriting, accountancy, bookkeeping, like an operational type skill, maybe it's web development. So you have a skill to give, then get in touch with me, because the idea, and it's a brand new concept, no one else is doing this, The idea is that I bring teams of 6 together where they all have different skills and they skill swap, as well as masterminding, as well as business coaching, as well as business training. So it's multi-leveled, but the innovation here is the bringing the skills together to skill swap. So effectively you make your team, but without increasing your costs. So I believe with my productivity brain, with my life balance focus, that this new concept is going to change the micro business world. So that's the thing that I'm so driven for, because if it works, I have to do the pilot, then I will franchise it. And then it will be all around the UK and potentially globally, who knows? So yes, that's what I'm working on. How you can get in touch with me. If you want to just private message me, you can do so over email. It's Tammy with a Y at gotoyellow.co.uk. So you can do it there. Or you will find me on any social media platform, except for Instagram right now. For some reason,
You're on mute, Tammy.
There we are. Yep, I'm back. I'm not sure what you heard at the end, but you can get in touch with me on any of the social media platforms.
It's great, Tammy. And we'll also post the links later. And then so Win is saying, thank you, Tammy Whalen Blake, for your meaningful life lessons. So Tammy, for the final question, this is a question we always ask our guests. What is your inspiring message to the world?
My inspiring message to the world is be brave, go for it, and smile along the way.
Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence, sharing your light, your love, your words of wisdom, and inspiring the world with your story. In honor of international recognition for your virtue in persistently serving and inspiring humanity with noble deeds, World Humanitarian Drive would like to award you Ms. Tammy Whalen Blake with Inspiring Humanitarian Award, signed today by Dr. Abdul Basit Saeed. So we'll just send you it's here. We'll just send it to you. So, congratulations.
Oh, it's very kind of you. I really appreciate that.
And thank you so much for sharing your time with us. And good luck in your future endeavors as well. Tammy Whalen Blake, founder and personal development coach of Go to Yellow. We would like to share a quotation by our honorable guest, Tammy Whalen Blake. The biggest inspiration is seeing the impact you created. Once one person's life is changed, it is hard to stop. They will remember you forever and be forever grateful. You know that there are many other people waiting for your help, and so you lead with passion. Thank you so much, Tammy.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed today's discussion with Tammy Whalen Blake, that it motivated you to turn your life from gray to yellow, to switch from tired and overwhelmed to a more colorful and energetic life. Here on Inspiring Millions Show, we present you with brilliant people from around the world, so feel free to connect with them on social media, and together, let's make a difference in the world. If today's discussion inspired you, please like it, share it, send us a comment. Do share with us your takeaways from today. Follow us on our social media accounts. Click subscribe on our YouTube channel, WHD Media. Visit our WHD website, www.whd.org.uk, for more inspiring events. Everyone stay safe and healthy. These are times we should strengthen our bodies, minds, emotions, and our faith. Please remember to have compassion, to be kind to yourself, others, and our planet. To our frontliners, we salute you. We thank you for your hard work, sacrifices, and dedication to humanity. To all those celebrating their birthdays and special milestones this week, happy celebrations. Have a wonderful weekend. On behalf of WHD team, especially those working behind the scenes, WHD Chairman Dr. Abdul Basit Saeed, WHD Director of Global Operations, Ms. Sarah Wilson, WHD's 12 Honorable Secretary Generals, we thank you, our virtual audience from around the world, for joining us and supporting our show. This has been World Humanitarian Drive's Inspiring Millions Show. I'm Viva Andrada O'Flynn. Please join us again next Friday. We will have a discussion with Dato Saritan Jinsoon of Malaysia as we inspire the world here on Inspiring Millions Show.